Welcome to ACC Student News, the news students can use. I'm Ryan Rose.
And I am Michelle Campa. Here are this week's stories.
Haiti's prime minister has resigned from his presidency. Ariel Henry announced his resignation while he was stuck in Puerto Rico. Due to violent gang activity, the main port of the country has been blocked off, leaving the country in dire need of food and fuel. The gang leader has threatened civil war. For these reasons, the prime minister has stepped down, forming a transitional presidential council. It's a tool found a replacement for Ariel Henry and to build Haiti's government.
The number of Chicago measles cases continue to grow. 12 measles cases have been confirmed in Chicago. 10 of the 12 cases started at Filson Migrant Shelter in Illinois. 98 others have been exposed to measles and have been taken to a Chicago area hotel for quarantine. These people are part of 26 migrant households, which includes 48 children. They will be quarantined for 21 days to Center for the Disease Control. The city has 98 days to set up more comprehensive physical for the migrant, which includes vacations. Oh my gosh.
Hammond will soon be installing shot spotters after a $300,000 grant was recently awarded to combat gun violence. Shot spotters pick up sounds and run them through an algorithm to confirm that they are a gunshot, and then report the time, place, and location of the shot. Currently, both East Chicago and Gary use shot spotters, with Chicago currently phasing out the technology. Hammond plans to use the technology to collect better evidence to better prosecute cases.
The Food and Drug Administration have finally outlawed brominated vegetable oil, also known as BVO, which is potentially toxic additive. The FDA has studied the oil on animals and found that a brominated vegetable oil may have health effects in people, possibly causing damage to the heart, brain, or liver. It has been found in drinks like sports drinks and sodas containing a mix of lemons, lime, and orange flavors, including Sundrop sodas.
A 12-year-old boy that was reported missing was discovered at an Ohio Target store where he spent the night. He was discovered by an employee around 6 in the morning the day after being reported. Authorities say that the boy was unharmed and he was reunited with his parents after being taken into child custody. As of now, the boy's identity has not been released to the public.
That's all for this part of ACC Student News.
Stay tuned during the short break for some more news.
Welcome back after the break.
I'm Noemi.
And I'm Austin. Here are this week's stories.
Airbnb is putting a ban on cameras inside their vacation rentals. Most of the listings on its site do not have indoor security cameras, and they claim they are simply making privacy a priority. Before the ban, cameras had to be visible and were able to be anywhere except bedrooms and the bathrooms.
Next, Benedict, a 16-year-old non-binary student from Oklahoma, whose death was initially thought to be a result of a physical altercation at their school, was actually reported to be a suicide. After an autopsy report was released, it was stated that Next Benedict's death was the result of the combined toxicity of 2 over-the-counter drugs, one of which is commonly found and used to treat depression.
In 2018 and 2019, Boeing had 2 fatal crashes killing 346 people. During this time, it was unknown what the actual cause of the crashes were, but whistleblower John Barnett, a former Boeing quality control manager, says Boeing had purposely used cheap and low quality materials that regulated in the crashes. John Barnett also says 1 in 4 oxygen masks could be defective. John Barnett had committed suicide in his car earlier this month in a South Carolina parking lot. Although it's important to note that John's lawyer stated that John had shown no signs of being suicidal. Furthermore, police have completely dropped the case.
The federal judge overseeing former President Donald J. Trump's prosecution on charges of mishandling classified documents. The decision by the judge followed a nearly day-long hearing in federal district court in Fort Pierce, where she entertained arguments from Mr. Trump's legal team. The government says the former president violated the Espionage Act 32 times by removing the trove of highly sensitive classified material from the White House after he left the office.
Europe passes the first law in the world to regulate AI. This law will ban AI systems that carry unacceptable risks, which include using biometric data to detect a person's ethnicity or sexual orientation. It also includes high-risk applications such as the use of AI in hiring or law enforcement to be more tightly regulated. To ensure this, developers are now required to show that their models are safe and adhere to privacy regulations.
Dak Prescott, the Cowboys quarterback, filed to sue a woman accusing him of sexual assault on an extortion claim. According to the lawsuit, the woman and her attorneys wrote Prescott a letter in which they said the woman wouldn't pursue criminal charges or go public with her claims if Prescott paid her $100 million. In response, Prescott is seeking $1 million in damages in his lawsuit against the woman and her attorneys. An attorney representing Prescott met last week with the police and said his client was a possible victim of extortion and he was never had non-consensual relationships with anyone.
78-year-old Dallas man Paul Alexander has passed away after living most of his life in an iron lung. Paul was diagnosed with polio back in 1952 during an outbreak in Dallas, Texas. Alexander was just 16 years old when the disease paralyzed him from the neck down and made him unable to breathe on his own.
That's all for the news this week.
To watch more videos like this one, follow ACC TV on YouTube.